And that's a slap in the face to folks who've served this country. And that's what our real concern is here.
As early voting continues for the May primary election, a new state law intended to cut down on voter fraud instead could leave out some of our most vulnerable veterans.
Investigator Sarah Goldenberg found state-authorized veteran ID cards issued by counties will no longer be accepted at the polls.
Now, she looks into what you need to know and what veterans can do about this.
Instead of carrying around military paperwork, thousands of veterans across Ohio have found an easier way to prove their eligibility for benefits with a county-issued veteran ID card. Often free or just a couple of dollars, it's also an authorized form of identification in Ohio.
Our process for obtaining an ID is extremely rigorous. There have to be two forms of identification, including the veteran's DD-214 service record showing how, when, and which branch of the armed forces that they served with.
That's Franklin County Recorder Daniel J. O'Connor Jr. They've been issuing these cards for 10 years. Many larger counties distribute them statewide, including Cuyahoga County and its Veterans Service Commission. Executive Director John Rice is frustrated that card won't be accepted at polling places under this new law.
We're putting a picture on it, we're putting identifying information, we're allowing them to be able to use that in different venues in the community. So it's a little bit of a disservice that our veterans can't then turn around and use that.
Veterans with no other photo ID may have no idea until they show up to vote in person.
So the veterans that are most likely to struggle to get other identification are our poorest and most vulnerable veterans. Those are individuals transitioning from homelessness that lack documentation, that'll take significant time and resources to try to identify where their Social Security card, to reorder a Social Security card, to get a birth certificate.
We found Cuyahoga County has issued just over 2,400 of the veteran ID cards over more than 5 years. Summit County tells us they've issued approximately 5,500 since 2016. And Franklin County has issued 5,700 of the cards since 2013.
A spokesperson for the Secretary of State's office tells me this veteran ID card is not recognized by the new law because it is not state issued. He tells me no one is being left behind with this law and, quote, there are a myriad of options that are not costly or cumbersome.
Option 1. Starting Friday, all Ohioans can get a free state-issued ID that's permissible for voting at the BMV with the proper documents. Or Option 2. If you don't have a photo ID, you can vote absentee by providing the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. It's hard to say how many veterans may be affected when they vote, but O'Connor says one veteran is too many.
Are you afraid some veterans won't wind up being able to vote?
I'm very afraid of that, yeah. And I think it's probably going to happen. And I hope it's not widespread at all. I hope it's very limited. But even if it's one, that's one too many, because that's someone who, was willing to put their life on the line for this country.
That's why counties I spoke with want to raise awareness now that you can't use a county-issued veteran ID card like this at the polls. They want to give veterans time to find another form of ID. Now, the Franklin County Recorder's Office is sending out this letter to hundreds of veterans they issued those cards to statewide this week to give them a heads up. Sarah Goldenberg, 19 News.
All right, we also want to point out if you're a veteran with the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs ID card, those can still be used to vote.
Also, you can use a U.S. military ID card and an Ohio National Guard ID card. We posted more on the new law on cleveland19.com for you.